This week in Law Firm Admin Bootcamp, we had a phenomenal conversation about the difference between a goal and a task. So the team members were running the daily huddle and the weekly stakeholders meeting. In each of those agendas, we outlined what are your top three for the week? What are your top three goals that you're going to absolutely crush? Where are you going to get jammed up and stuck, and where do you need accountability and help and support? And the attorney raised her hand and said, hey, I have a question. I'm really confused. What's the difference between a goal and what's the difference between a task? A task is something that is hardwired within your weekly time chunking within your planning. For example, one of the attorneys said that their task was to review their goal was to review documents. I'm like, whoa, time out. That's already hardwired in your weekly time template. You know, on Mondays from 2 to 4, you review documents for the paralegals and get them back so we can get them into production, delivered to the client, and paid for our final payment. Well, a goal would be this Smith case. So the Smith case is a big business client that we're working on. I know I'm behind. I know I owe the file. I see this on my calendar. I step over the file literally every single day when I walk in my office, and it sucks the life out of me. It is soul crushing because I have absolutely no idea what's going on with that case. I don't know if it's 30 minutes of work, if it's 4 hours of work. The associate attorney that we let go of 2 weeks ago totally dropped the ball on this case. It's waking me up at 2 o'clock in the morning. I'm out of integrity with the client, and this would be an absolute home run if I was able to get the State of the Union on the Smith case, get a meeting with the Smiths on my calendar, and put a fork in it. Call this file complete. We're in integrity, all the things. So that's a difference between a goal is not review files or review matters. A goal is very specific. It's measurable. It's usually something that you're procrastinating on. It's absolutely sucking the life out of you, and you're losing sleep over it. And so that would be a goal. Where do you need help? Where are you going to get jammed up? Well, it was interesting because the client service coordinator raised her hand and said, listen, I'm going to order lunch for us. We're done with our weekly team meeting. Then we have our marketing meeting. And then you have your finance meeting. And I see on your calendar you have time from 3 to 5 to review documents. I'm going to come in, and if this is the only one you get done today, then so be it. But I'm going to come and sit with you. I'm going to bring salads. We're going to have water. We're going to have drinks in there. And I'm going to sit with you, and I'm going to support you. I'm going to make sure you don't get distracted on email or in Facebook groups or what have you. I'm going to sit there and be a professional babysitter for you. That way I could run, I could gopher, I could dig in the matter, I could do research, whatever you need for me to do, whether it's in the CRM or it's a physical file or what have you. That is the difference between a goal and a task. Another one was for the intake specialist. So her goal was to spend 2.5 hours on doing follow-up calls from last week's workshop. That'd be very different than to say, I'm going to do follow-up calls. It was very clear, it was specific, and at the end of the 2.5 hours, come back and give a reporting. How many phone calls were made? How many of them went to voicemail? How many people did she talk to? How many initial consultations were booked from that? And so we can have a baseline and metrics. So that was her goal for today. Then we can make an informed decision. So the goal was, number one, spend 2.5 hours on the calls. Number two was to have reporting with all the key indicators that we wanted. And number three, that a report would be furnished and sent by the end of the day. So for tomorrow's daily huddle, we could come back and she's going to have a proposed solution. I crushed it. I rocked it with 2.5 hours. I actually want to spend 4 hours today. So that means that I need somebody to cover the phones for me for inbound calls, etc. So that's the difference. You may have time blocked out each day in your calendar to spend on reviewing documents, making follow-up calls, making confirmation calls, but they're clear, they're concise, and we're up-leveling them. They're trackable, they're measurable, and we're finding a way that we can constantly be making that 2mm shift in the right direction. So if your team's not clear on, and they don't have a big, scary, audacious goal in their planning each week. Give me your team. Let me train them on how to declare and discern and decide this for themselves, in addition to support and hold everybody on the team accountable with theirs.